Welcome back everybody, Mr. Carroll Science here. Today I'm going to be working on my homemade 3D printer enclosure. It's time for class. I got projects that you wouldn't believe. Science stuff, 3D prints and student machines. Na 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 na. It's a Carroll thing. Okay guys, so this is my homemade 3D printer enclosure. It's pretty cheap. I went to IKEA and bought a lac table for $8. And then I went and got some of this foam board and cut it up and just put some screws around the outside, and that's just to help to insulate it and keep the wind and air off of my 3D printer from the air conditioner. So today my plan is to figure out how I'm going to put a filament guide through the top of this so I can mount the filament on top and run it straight down into the hot end. This is an ANET A8, which means it has a direct drive extruder, so I'm gonna just run it straight down through the top. So this is the solution to my problem. So here what I've got, I just designed this really quick in Fusion 360. It's just a 20mm threaded screw that has a little nut on it. So what I'm going to do is drill a 3/4 inch hole through the top of this table, slide this down in, and then I'll tighten the screw up from the bottom. Okay, so this is the file that I created to make my little filament guide. I'm going to show you guys how I made it. It's actually really simple. So the first thing I did is I pushed C to get a circle. I'm going to put it on the XY plane, and I'm going to make a circle that is 50mm wide. Then I'm going to make another circle that's 20mm wide, and then I'm going to make a third circle that's 4mm wide. I made it 4mm wide because that's what I measured the Bowden tube at, but for your tolerances you might need to make it a little bit bigger. I had to drill it out to about 3/16 of an inch in order to get this to fit. So if you want, you can maybe actually, instead of 4, we can make it 5mm, and maybe the Bowden tube would fit a little bit better. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and extrude this. So this outer diameter circle, I'm going to extrude this up by 3mm, and then I'm going to turn this sketch back on because I want to extrude this part up 70mm, and that's going to make this nice cool little object that has these cool holes in it. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the screw thread, and that's actually much easier than you might think. So I'm going to go to Create, Thread. I'm going to click on this part that I want to have the thread on it, and it automatically selects M20 with a 2.5 pitch, which is the kind of thread that I'm going to want. It's actually pretty simple to print a thread this size if you have your settings dialed in. And then I'm going to click on Modeled, and that's going to go ahead and cut those threads into my model. So then I click OK, and there's the screw thread. Then all I'm going to do is just add a couple of fillets. I'm going to push F for fillet, and I'm going to put a fillet on the top and the bottom here of 1mm just to keep my edges nice and smooth. And then I'm going to go to Modify, Chamfer, and in this circle right here in the middle, I'm actually going to put a chamfer on this side. And the reason why I'm going to put a chamfer in here is because that's going to allow the filament to guide through a little bit better. So I'm going to just go like a 3, no, I think I can go like a 5. So go do a 5mm chamfer, turn this sketch off so we can see it better. And I think that's all that I need to do. So there's the threaded part. Now to make the nut that goes on it, it's actually just as easy. So I'm going to go C for circle. I'm going to choose the same plane as before, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make a 50mm circle. Then under my sketch tools, I'm going to put in a polygon, and I'm going to say an inscribed polygon. And I'm going to click here, and I'm going to drag it out to the size that I want, which is going to be about 20mm, and that's going to be pretty much perfect. Then I'm going to create a circle in the middle that is going to be also 20mm. So 20mm on the polygon was the radius, not the diameter, so it makes it a little bit bigger. Okay, so then I'm going to extrude this up. My little flange here, I'm going to extrude up 3 millimeters like I did before. Turn that sketch back on. And I'm going to extrude the actual nut part up about 10 millimeters. So I've got some decent threads to attach to. So that looks pretty good. And then I'm going to model the screw the same way I did before. I'm going to go to Create, Thread, and I'm going to click on that inner circle where I want it to be. It already selects M20 2.5, which is what I want, and then I just click Modeled again, and there we go. So now I've got the threads already modeled, and if you have pretty decent settings, it should work pretty well. And then I'm just going to do the same thing I did before, where I'm going to push F for fillet, add a fillet to the top and bottom there, and there we go. That should be pretty good. That's going to be my nut and bolt to go through the middle of my enclosure. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mark the hole where I want this to go. So I kind of have it set up in the middle of the carriage so I can kind of eyeball about where I want it to be.
Dad, I can't. You keep moving your face around.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm just going to come kind of straight up from where this is, find a good spot. And then I'm going to mark it, and I'm just going to go ahead and drill.
Yeah.
So you can see here that it did leave a little bit of a nasty mark, but that's okay because when I modeled this, I modeled it so that I would have this nice big wide flange. So when I put it in, it's not going to show. So another thing that I did is I had to drill it out with a 5/16 drill bit so I could put a piece of PTFE tubing inside, some Bowden tube, and hopefully this is going to just fit. Okay, so that goes right in.
So
And then I take the nut on the other side and I'm going to just tighten it up.
But your face too high, I can't see it now.
So you can see it just screws on from the other side. And then that tightens up. Nice. Okay. So I can tighten it down a little bit. There we go. I'm gonna put this back on. There we go. So now I've got a nice, neat little hole right here. And when I go and get some filament, it should be able to fit nice and easy right through the middle of that Bowden tube. Look at that. Perfect. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find something that I can put on top of this so that the spool can spin while it's pulling filament down towards the printer. Okay, so I was just kind of looking around my classroom to see what I could find to use as a spool holder until I get something better, and I found a bunch of these PVC fittings. So I think if I just put some fittings together in just the right way, I might be able to make something pretty simple that will work for now. And there we go. So I think this will work for now as a temporary spool holder. Should we try it out?
Yep. I can see your face, Dad, through the video.
Okay, so feed this down through my Bowden tube. And there we go. I think that's going to work just perfect. A nice little spool holder to go for my 3D printed enclosures. I guess the next phase is going to be somehow putting a door on this so I can maybe still see the prints while they're working, so if they fail, I know to stop the printer. Thank you so much for watching my videos. If you like this video, please leave a like down below, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future content. Make sure you leave a comment down below of any new videos that you'd like to see me do, or if you think I'm a complete moron and messed this up, let me know how I can do it better. See it in the classroom.
Okay.
Okay. First up. How do I make some sort of a spoon
Dad.
holder? Yeah.
The Diamondbacks are winning 6-1.
Oh, nice. All right.
Yeah. But then my dad might need something else to work for later. I just knew that because you just said for now, so I just wanted to do that.